سلام بچه‌ها، خوش اومدید به ویدیوی ترسناک فان دیگه به همراه مهمان و عضو سابق فرزام آقای ادیتورمون صادق. معرف آقای صادق با ماسک شیطان خوشمید بیم. خب بچه‌ها میخوایم با هم یه ویدیو ترسناک فان ببینیم به همراه عمو صادق.
بگو پدر رپ فارس شما مادرش.
اگر تازه اومدید توی چنلمون تبریک میگم بهتون، شما عضو خانواده فرزام شدید. همین الان دکمه سابسکرایب رو بزنید، لایک کنید ویدیو رو. هم میخوایم یه مقدار بترسیم، نمیدونم واقعا ایکسی واقعا غیر قابل پیش بینی ترین آدم در اصلا قابل پیش بینی نیست. بریم سراغ ویدیو.
The recent web series Squid Game has risen to fame because of its unusual and twisted plot. But as everyone can enjoy the show, I can't. There's one element of this show that makes me cringe like crazy, and that is the doggone. As soon as I heard about it, so many dark memories lashed out of my mind. I have been introduced to this typical Korean candy way back before Squid Game gave it worldwide fame. My name is Sarah Stewart, and this is my story. I grew up in the countryside with fresh air, a clear sky, cheerful people. Being from a small village left very few options for entertainment. In those days, children used to play in the parks, run in the mud, and sail paper boats in the ditch near the roads. Childhood was easy and innocent. Every afternoon, my brother and I used to go out and play with the neighborhood kids. There wasn't a constructive park like the big cities have these days, but there was indeed a huge green field adjacent to the woods. Kids play there, locals went for their walks. The field was so vast that even all the people of the village were not enough to make it crowded. One cloudy afternoon, my brother and I wore our raincoats and went to the field to ride our bicycles. Mom gave us strict warning to head home if it started to rain. The sky was filled with big dark clouds. My brother Jason has always been a stubborn and hyperactive kid. He rode his bicycle intentionally over the puddles of water so that it splashed. A few people were chatting in one corner. Except that, no other kids were playing that day. Jason and I were racing when my eyes went to a secluded part of the field. There was a big bushy tree, and the woods started right after that. Under the shadow of the big tree stood a man with a small trolley. "Who is that?" Jason asked me, following my eyes. "Think he's selling candy," I said. "Do you have money?" "Yeah." "Let's go then." Saying this, Jason started to ride his bicycle at full speed towards the candy man. Being the big sister, I had to go after him. We reached near the spot and got a clear view of the man. All his clothes looked quite old and rusty. He wore a brown farmer hat, probably to save himself from the rain. What surprised me more...
من توضیح بدم چون تازه ویدیوهای من داره میبینه. نشود که مطمئنم کلا رو برای که خیس نشه سرش کرده. جملات جواد خیابانی هستش که میگه که قطعا تو این بازی کسی که گل زده میشه گلزن بازی. فکت اینم یه فکتی آقای ایسپی اشاره کرده بودن. بریم ادامه.
What's his candy? They looked like big caramel lollipops with various shapes and all the candy were the same flavor. I realized he is a poor candy seller who was probably trying to make money with the little he can. He laughed in a squeaky voice and said, "Wanna try some candies, dear? How much is it?" "2 candies for $1." Seeing the size of the candy, I became shocked hearing the price. I thought to myself, these are cheap. Before I could ask more, Jason yelled in excitement, "I'll take this one." The man handed him over a lollipop that had an umbrella stamped on it. I gave him $1 and he handed me another one. Mine had a star stamped on it. Taking the money, he smiled and said, "What are you two doing alone here? The storm is about to come." "Yeah, we'll head home now. Come on, Jason." Saying this, I looked at my brother, who by that time had already taken a big bite of the candy. But he didn't pay attention to what I said and spat the candy from his mouth on the ground, screaming, "Ew! These taste awful! You're the worst candy maker! You make the worst candy!" He threw the remaining candy on the ground and stomped on it, making the umbrella shatter into pieces. I felt embarrassed with his behavior because, no matter how it tasted, he shouldn't have insulted the poor man in his face. I scolded him, saying, "Jason, didn't Mom tell you to behave in front of others?" I was going to scold him more, but the man stopped me and said, "It's okay. He is just a kid." He then crouched down to Jason's face and said, "I am sorry. Maybe they won't be bad due to the weather. I do have freshly made ones at home. And there are many other candies as well. If you want, you two can come with me." I turned around and saw there was no one else in that field except us. A siren of trouble went loud in my mind. I said in a fumbled voice, "It's quite late now. We should be going. I'm sorry for my brother's behavior." The man laughed in the same manner again and said, "It's fine. I thought you guys will like some toys that I made for kids. Too bad you have to go home now." "Toys? Sarah, please, let's go. I want toys." "But Mom said to be home. It's not even raining yet. She said to be home before it starts to rain." "Don't worry. My house is nearby." No matter how many red flags I saw, I still couldn't refuse the invite of free toys and candy like my brother. I gave up finally, and we started to follow the man. He rode his trolley, and we rode our bicycles behind him. Leaving the field behind, we took a narrow path heading into the woods. After riding for 5 or 7 minutes, we came in front of a small wooden cabin. "This is my home. Come in." The man parked his trolley on the side and opened the door. We kept our bicycles beside the cabin and walked in with him. It was a small cabin with very little furniture. A soggy smell was all over the air like it hasn't been cleaned for a long time. The man took us into a small room which was more like a kitchen. I could see dirty plates lying in the sink with cockroaches crawling on them for leftovers. A disgusting feeling shivered down my body, seeing the filth all around. On the stove lay a pan with a caramel liquid filled in it. He lit the stove and told us to sit. I sat down, but Jason said, "Where are the toys? I want them now." "You are a stubborn kid. Can't you learn anything from your sister?" "I want the toys now. Can you watch this till I come back?" I nodded my head, and the man went to the other room with Jason. I sat down and watched the caramel boil. Few moments went by, and when they didn't come back, I got a bit worried. I pushed the door open in one go and saw Jason was tied to the bedstand while the man sat near him with a sharp knife. "What are you doing to my brother?" "I am going to make him the best candy he will ever taste." He then lunged at me and pressed a funky smelling cloth on my mouth. I don't know why. My head became dizzy and I lost the willpower to scream or fight back. I don't remember how long I was out, but when I woke up, I found myself tied to a chair. I was back in that kitchen again. At some distance, the man was stirring that pan which had caramel boiling in it. He took a full glass of red liquid and poured it into the caramel mixture. An awful burnt metal smell choked the air in the room immediately. "Oh, you're awake. Do you know what this is? Look at there. Look." I looked at the corner of the kitchen where he gestured and saw Jason was lying on the floor with his eyes wide open and wrists slashed. Blood was dripping like a fountain. The man drank some blood from his cut open wrists and then poured it again into the caramel mixture. After stirring it for some more time, he poured it into a tray in the shape of a big circle, then grabbed a balloon-shaped stamp and made a mark on the caramel mixture, which was now red with my brother's blood. "Here you go. The world's tastiest candy is ready. Want to try it out?" He then picked up the balloon-shaped red dalgona candy and licked it in front of my eyes. The red blood cells stuck to his tongue, making it red. His eyes widened and he said, "Now it's your turn." He started to walk towards me with that candy made from my brother's blood. I cried and pleaded with him to let me go, but he didn't. He crouched down at my level and shoved the candy into my mouth. The metallic taste made me vomit on the floor right away, and just then I heard footsteps rushing into the cabin. "Freeze or we will shoot!" The cops entered the kitchen, pointing their guns at him. I woke up in the hospital and saw my parents standing near me with tearful eyes. When my brother and I didn't come home, my parents started looking for me. They heard from some local people that we were talking to this fishy-looking candy vendor, and that was the last time they all saw us. With the help of the sheriff and his team, my parents started searching for us and heard my scream coming from a distance. Following that, they discovered this wooden cabin, and what happened next is not hard to guess. Even though they saved me, my brother died that day. He lost a huge amount of blood, and on his way to the hospital, he took his last breath. The Candyman is now facing a life sentence in prison. I will never be able to watch this web series, no matter how trendy or exciting people label it. The Squid Game reminds me of that dalgona candy that was made by my little brother's
بیشرم آبنبات کلوچه‌ای عوضی. آقا خیلی عالی بود. ببین واقعا ترسناک بود ولی واقعا هم خنده‌دار بود. یعنی ما یه دونه دوراهی بد گیر کرده بودیم می‌تونیم بخندیم یا بترسیم.
منزجر کننده بود.
واقعا یه جاهاش منزجر کننده بود.
با روحیات من نمی‌سازه.
آره ایشون کلا. ولی اگه دوست دارید صادق به همراه این ماسک جاتون ماسک نرما باشه توی کامنت حتما بهمون بگید. ممنون از اینکه تا انتهای ویدیو رو تماشا کردید. اگر خوشتون اومد از این پارت ویدیو رو لایک کنید چون یه پارت پشم ریزون دیگه داره. ممنونم ازتون. مرسی تا انتهای ویدیو همراهمون بودید. عاشقتونم. ماچ یو آر.